question and answer, please have your phones on silent or vibrate. Cathy, if you would, please.
Great. Thank you, Ron. It's great to be here. Good evening, everyone. WNBA.
The WNBA is burning. And standing right in the middle of the flames is Cathy Engelbert, the commissioner who somehow managed to turn the league's greatest moment into its biggest disaster. What was once supposed to be the golden age of women's basketball. Powered by stars like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Nafessa Collier, has now become a war zone of resentment, incompetence, and chaos. Engelbert didn't just mishandle a league, she alienated its soul. Every decision, every quote. Every tone-deaf comment has pushed the WNBA closer to the edge of implosion, and now the fallout is impossible to contain. The players can't stand her. The owners are openly rebelling. The fans boo her at every public appearance, and the executives who once defended her are now quietly plotting her exit. This isn't just a controversy anymore, it's a full-scale mutiny. And Engelbert is the captain of a ship she steered straight into the iceberg. What makes it even more shocking is how preventable all of this was. With Caitlin Clark igniting record-breaking ratings, filling arenas, and introducing millions of new fans to the league, Engelbert was handed a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to turn the WNBA into a global phenomenon. Instead, she turned it into a PR nightmare. Her inability to lead, to connect, and to simply respect the players who drive her league has become the defining scandal of modern sports leadership. Every day, it feels less like the WNBA is growing and more like it's collapsing in slow motion. And everyone watching knows exactly who to blame. From the very beginning, Engelbert's leadership has been built on arrogance, disguised as confidence. Insiders describe her as condescending, dismissive, and incapable of listening. One executive didn't mince words when they said she talks down to everyone, even the owners. That kind of tone doesn't just irritate people, creates enemies. And Engelbert has managed to make an entire league her enemy. The locker rooms don't trust her. The boardrooms can't stand her. Even the fans, the lifeblood of any league, have turned against her. The boos that rained down in Phoenix during the championship trophy presentation weren't just about a bad season. They were a public referendum on failed leadership. She walked off the court as fans flicked her off, shouted insults, and turned what should have been a celebration into an indictment. That Emmy Engelbert trying to smile through relentless booing became a symbol of everything wrong with her tenure, a commissioner detached from reality, trying to act like everything's fine while the league crumbles beneath her. And yet, despite the chaos, she still insists she's not quitting. "I've never been a quitter," she told the media, as if stubbornness were a virtue. But when your league is on fire, refusing to step down isn't bravery, it's delusion. The real explosion, though, came from the players. For months, frustration had been simmering. Officiating controversies, brutal travel conditions, stalled collective bargaining talks, it was all piling up. But when Engelbert dismissed Caitlin Clark's concerns about being targeted and physically attacked on the court, calling the reports overblown, that was the match that lit the dynamite. Fans were furious. Players were insulted. Even owners saw it as a catastrophic PR failure. Nafessa Collier publicly revealed Engelbert brushed off Clark's safety concerns, and the reaction was instant and brutal. Overnight, Engelbert became the villain of the entire league. Social media erupted with outrage, and for once, the players and the fans were united in their disgust. That single dismissive comment revealed what everyone had suspected for years. Cathy Engelbert doesn't understand her players, doesn't care about their experiences, and doesn't respect the fans who support them. Caitlin Clark wasn't just another player voicing frustration. She was the face of the league, the reason millions of new fans tuned in. Dismissing her was like slapping the future of the WNBA in the face. And when Engelbert followed that up by claiming that only losers complain about the refs, she didn't just show arrogance, she showed contempt. Her own league stars were voicing real issues about officiating, safety, and fairness. And she reduced their voices to whining. That level of tone deafness doesn't just alienate people, it destroys trust. It's no wonder insiders are now saying the CBA negotiations are dead on arrival as long as she's in charge. You can't negotiate with players who no longer believe a word coming out of your mouth. Even the owners who once tolerated Engelbert's corporate style because she brought in investors have finally had enough. Behind closed doors, several have admitted they've lost complete faith in her leadership. One owner was brutally honest. "If I had a vote, I'd ask for her replacement tomorrow." That's not frustration, that's a death sentence. The league's so-called growth strategy, which Engelbert loves to brag about, has backfired spectacularly. That $75 million capital raise she boasted about? It came at the cost of selling off 16% of the league's ownership to outside investors. Instead of bringing stability, it brought chaos. Private firms now influence key decisions, turning every discussion into a bureaucratic nightmare. Even the owners are calling it a disaster. One said flat out that Rays handcuffed us more than it helped us. Translation: Engelbert sold a piece of the WNBA's soul for short-term headlines. She turned what could have been a renaissance into a corporate quagmire, all while pretending she was saving the league. And through it all, she refuses to take accountability. Every scandal becomes a learning opportunity. Every backlash is misinterpreted. Every mistake is taken out of context. It's like watching a politician dodge responsibility while the country burns. Except in this case, the country is a league built on the dreams of women who fought for respect, and their leader keeps spitting on that legacy. What's truly tragic is that the WNBA's current explosion of popularity has nothing to do with Engelbert's leadership and everything to do with the players she's failed to protect. Caitlin Clark alone has brought in record-shattering viewership, merchandise sales, and ticket demand. She's turned every arena she visits into a sold-out spectacle. Angel Reese, Nafessa Collier, and others have brought personality, drama, and authenticity that mainstream audiences love. Yet instead of harnessing that momentum, Engelbert has treated it like a nuisance. She's more concerned with optics than with reality, more obsessed with controlling the narrative than with listening to her players. When asked about the WNBA's officiating disaster, she gave the most corporate, hollow answer imaginable, saying the league evaluates officiating holistically. That's code for "we're not doing anything." Fans saw right through it. They've watched games where stars get hammered without a whistle, where clear fouls go uncalled, where games are decided by incompetence, and still, Engelbert insists everything's fine. That kind of gaslighting doesn't just anger fans, it insults their intelligence. You can't claim to champion growth and equality while refusing to hold your officials accountable for blatant bias. And when fans see Caitlin Clark getting shoved, tripped, and body-checked with no protection, they know the problem isn't the refs, it's the leadership that refuses to fix them. Now the league is staring down its biggest crisis yet. The new collective bargaining agreement. The current deal expires at the end of this month, and insiders say there's zero chance a new one gets done under Engelbert's watch. The players don't trust her. The owners don't trust her. And yet Adam Silver, the only ally she has left, still refuses to fire her because of optics. He doesn't want the NBA to look weak for hiring her in the first place. Think about how absurd that is. The commissioner of a professional league is being kept in power not because she's competent, but because firing her would embarrass her boss. That's not leadership, that's ego preservation at the highest level. So now the WNBA is stuck in limbo. The players are threatening not to negotiate. The owners are furious. The fans are exhausted. And Engelbert keeps giving interviews pretending she's confident in the league's direction, while everyone around her knows the direction is straight off a cliff. Behind the scenes, executives are leaking their frustrations to the media. Sponsors are asking questions. Even investors are starting to worry about the brand's image. What was supposed to be the most exciting era in women's basketball has devolved into a cautionary tale about what happens when ego, arrogance, and corporate detachment collide with real passion and talent. Engelbert was handed a movement. She turned it into a meltdown. And as the flames get higher, she's still standing in the middle of it all. clutching the gasoline can, convinced she's saving the fire instead of feeding it. Saving the fire instead of feeding it. The knives are out, and this time, they're coming from inside the house. The owners who once tolerated Cathy Engelbert's glossy, PowerPoint leadership and corporate jargon are now ready to end her reign for good. It's not whispers anymore, it's war. The same executives who smiled on stage during her growth-era speeches are now privately admitting they've lost complete faith in her. If I had a vote, one team owner said bluntly, I'd ask for her replacement tomorrow. That line didn't come from a player, a fan, or a media critic hit. Came from someone signing her paycheck. That's when you know it's over. The illusion of stability has shattered, and all that's left is a commissioner clinging to a crumbling throne while everyone beneath her scrambles to escape the wreckage. Engelbert's empire of spin has finally collapsed under the weight of her own arrogance. She promised the owners transformation. Instead, she delivered tension, chaos, and mistrust. What's happening in the WNBA right now isn't just a leadership crisis, it's an open revolt. And at the center of it all stands Caitlin Clark, the rookie superstar whose meteoric rise exposed the league's deepest insecurities and forced everyone to choose sides, the players or the commissioner. For months, Engelbert treated Clark's impact as an inconvenience rather than a revolution. And that mistake may go down as the single biggest blunder in WNBA history. Behind closed doors, owners are furious over how Engelbert has managed to turn momentum into mayhem. Her much-hyped $75 million capital raise, once hailed as a turning point for women's sports, has become a bureaucratic nightmare. The fine print that no one talked about at the time. Engelbert sold off 16% of the league's ownership to outside investors' hedge funds, private equity firms, and corporate opportunists who know nothing about basketball but everything about leverage. What was supposed to empower the league ended up handcuffing it. Now every decision has to pass through layers of red tape. And the WNBA's once collaborative ownership model has turned into a corporate tug-of-war. The owners feel trapped, the investors are meddling, and Engelbert is pretending it's progress. One insider described the fallout perfectly. We didn't grow, we just complicated everything. Translation: Engelbert's growth strategy wasn't a vision, it was a sellout. She mortgaged the league's independence for a headline and called it innovation. And now that the investors are demanding returns, the league's real stakeholders, the players, and the fans are paying the price. It's not just about money anymore. It's about control, and the WNBA's leadership has lost it completely. The CBA negotiations have become the battleground where all these frustrations collide. The current collective bargaining agreement is set to expire at the end of the month. And insiders are already calling the talks toxic. Players have no faith in Engelbert's fairness. Owners no longer believe she can get a deal done. And with every passing day, the league creeps closer to a full-blown work stoppage. That's the nightmare scenario. No games, no paychecks, no progress. And if it happens, everyone will know exactly who to blame. Engelbert has burned every bridge she's ever built. Players blame her for the league's stagnant pay structure. Owners blame her for the investor mess. Fans blame her for ignoring Caitlin Clark's safety. And through it all, Engelbert acts like she's the victim of misunderstanding. Her defenders, what few remain, point to her corporate background, her steady hand, her business acumen. But the truth is, running a basketball league isn't the same as running a balance sheet. You can't spreadsheet your way through player outrage. You can't PowerPoint your way through a credibility crisis. And you definitely can't condescend your way out of losing the trust of your stars. One executive summed it up brutally. She talks numbers, we talk people. That's why this league is falling apart. And nowhere is that disconnect more visible than in the way she handled Caitlin Clark. From the moment Clark stepped into the WNBA, she was a once-in-a-generation force. She shattered attendance records, sold out arenas in cities that had never cared about women's basketball, and delivered TV ratings that rivaled NBA playoff games. She was the league's golden ticket proof that women's basketball could be mainstream, profitable, and culturally relevant. But instead of celebrating that, Engelbert treated her success like a nuisance. When Clark started drawing criticism and physical targeting from veteran players, the league had a choice: protect its new star or pretend everything was fine. Engelbert chose the latter. When reporters asked about Clark's safety and the visible aggression she faced, Engelbert waved it off as media exaggeration. That was the moment fans snapped. The footage didn't lie. Game after game, Clark was hacked, shoved, and taunted, and the referees let it slide. Fans saw it. Commentators saw it. Even opposing players saw it. Everyone except the commissioner, apparently. By refusing to acknowledge what was right in front of her, Engelbert didn't just lose credibility, she lost the locker room. Players who had once been neutral started speaking out. Nafessa Collier publicly exposed Engelbert's dismissive attitude. Angel Reese hinted at frustrations with leadership that doesn't listen. It wasn't a coincidence. It was a collective awakening. Engelbert's arrogance had crossed a line, and now the entire player base was uniting against her. But it's not just about Clark, it's about everything she represents. The new generation of WNBA stars embodies visibility, personality, and connection. They engage with fans directly, build brands, and carry the league's future on their shoulders. Engelbert, meanwhile, still runs the WNBA like it's 2005 corporate scripts. Sanitized messaging and no emotional intelligence. Her obsession with control has stifled creativity and alienated everyone who actually makes the league matter. When she says things like players should be grateful for the platform the WNBA gives them, it reveals everything you need to know about her mindset. She sees the league as a corporation and the players as employees, not partners. But the modern sports world doesn't work that way anymore. Fans don't rally around executives, they rally around stars. And when those stars feel disrespected, the fans follow them, not the commissioner. That's why Engelbert's approval rating, if you can even call it that, has collapsed. The people who should be her allies have turned into her critics. Even veteran players who once tolerated her detached style are now calling for accountability. "We can't build a future with someone who doesn't believe in us," one player said privately. That line sums up the entire problem. The WNBA's future depends on unity, and Engelbert has destroyed it. The league's owners see it too. They're not blind to the social media firestorms, the booing crowds, or the PR disasters that seem to follow Engelbert everywhere she goes. They've watched her fumble press conferences, contradict players, and alienate sponsors. The WNBA's internal reports claim record growth, but even that's misleading. Yes, ticket sales and TV ratings are up, but not because of Engelbert. They're up because of Caitlin Clark. She's the reason millions of new fans are watching. She's the reason the league is trending every week. And yet Engelbert seems determined to downplay her influence, as if acknowledging it would make her leadership look weaker. It's pure ego, and it's backfiring spectacularly. Sponsors aren't stupid. They know who's driving the revenue. That's why several major partners have reportedly started asking tough questions about the league's direction. They see the internal turmoil, the players' public frustration, and the commissioner's endless stream of excuses. They see a brand on the brink, and the owners, many of whom have poured millions into building their franchises, are furious that Engelbert's ego is dragging their investment into a credibility crisis. One owner told ESPN she's done fine on the business side, but she's lost the locker room. And once you lose the locker room, it's over. You can't fix that with PR statements or polished interviews. You fix it by leaving, and Engelbert refuses to go. The optics of keeping her around are disastrous, but Adam Silver's pride might be the only thing saving her job. Reports say Silver doesn't want to fire her because it would make the NBA look weak for hiring her in the first place. In other words, the WNBA commissioner isn't being protected because she's effective, she's being protected because firing her would embarrass her boss. That's not leadership. That's vanity disguised as loyalty. And it's costing the league dearly. The players see it as proof that their voices don't matter. The owners see it as a sign that accountability is dead. The fans see it as confirmation that the league's priorities are upside down. Everyone's losing faith. And the commissioner at the center of it all is still pretending she's winning. Engelbert's interviews have become unintentional comedy routines. She praises record engagement while ignoring the backlash. She calls criticism a sign of passion, as if being universally despised is some kind of compliment. She insists she's focused on the future of the game while refusing to listen to the people shaping that future. It's delusion at its highest form, and it's dragging the WNBA into uncharted chaos. The refereeing fiasco alone should have been enough to end her tenure. All season long, the officiating has been a running joke, with players and fans calling out inconsistency, bias, and incompetence. Instead of acknowledging the issue, Engelbert defended the referees, saying they were being unfairly criticized.